Well, I see those two concepts as a both and, not an either or, but I think you're right. We tend to lean towards the doing end of the spectrum and, neglect or just don't give adequate space to the being with.
Mhm.
I think it's probably somewhat evolutionarily kind of primed with us. Like when there's someone in distress, especially a loved
Yes,
one like a child, it's like this call to action.
yes,
They've done studies on the impact of an infant crying, for example, on a parent, and it is profound what happens, the physiological changes. And so
yes.
I think, that is mirrored in other forms of distress. And so that being with is really a tall order, I think, but I think you're right. It's not prioritized.
Yeah. And I think it's holding it in a very different place that my child might be growing some self-regulation in the
Mm-hmm.
presence of my compassion. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that that middle gray zone isn't elaborated enough. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I'm abandoning them. They need me. Or, suck it up, buttercup, you'll figure it out. And it's
Right.
neither of those.
Right. No, it is absolutely more in between. And um, I think even just the awareness that feeling states, while they can be really uncomfortable, they will pass, they will
Yeah.
fade, they will shift. Now, when you're in the throes of a really intense emotion, oh
Yeah.
boy. I mean, it doesn't feel like that, right? It's almost like this tunnel. All you see is red. Um,
Yeah.
but truth be told, in 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 25 minutes or 45 minutes, it will shift. It'll soften, it'll subside. It might ramp back up again too, but it won't stay forever. And I think just that is really an important, like, this too shall pass. I know that sounds so cliche, um, but it's also really true. It really will pass. And I think it's important to hold on to that in those moments where it feels that urgency to fix it and to stop it
Yeah.
can be so strong.
And the belief that your child can. And I think there is an
Mhm.
inherent fear that maybe they
Mhm.
can't. And if they
Mhm.
can't, then what?
Mhm.
I remember when
Mhm.
my kiddo was little and she was highly dysregulated. I mean, just
Mhm.
I'm in my own state
Mhm.
and I have a
Mhm.
fear that this is never going to end. And is she going to manage and is she going to fall apart? And, it's not like she's going
Right.
to go to 1,000 different pieces, but somehow in your mind, in that moment, that's your
Yes.
belief.
Yes. Yeah. What if it doesn't stop? And it does really seem in the moment that that could
Yeah.
be the case.
Yeah.
Um, and that urgency, I think it's just more gas on the fire. And it's fueling good intention. I mean,
Yep.
it isn't a misstep, but it is in the sense that it's just not kind of letting things ease, just saying, this is so awful, you are so upset,
Yeah.
I can't fix this, but I'm here, we're together.
You're saying some really important things, and I want to add to it. One is that is such a co-regulating kind of rhythm, right? Just by changing your physiology, that you're not going to be
Mhm.
thrown off base. The other thing is that sometimes we'll use that language with parents, and our kids are auditorily shut down. And the
Mhm.
idea that
Mhm.
you don't have to say a word, but you can say that
Mhm.
inside of yourself and
Mhm.
bring that
Mhm.
presence. Because I think, parents think they're going to teach or tell or direct or do
Mhm.
something
Mhm. Mhm.
that is going to break the tension of the moment. Again, I think that's the urge to fix rather than just to be with in a sense of safety, that you can handle it and can they.
Yeah. No, thank you for, because you're right. Sometimes the words are too much, even brief little phrases. Um, but sometimes a look, or just like I'll put my hand kind of on my heart and just like
Mhm.
I see you, you know,
Yeah.
can really be a powerful felt shared moment that has no words attached to it.
And our kids can be tricky because sometimes they'll say, get out of here. I don't want you. Leave me alone. You're giving me that look again. Oh, you're doing Dr. Kessler stuff. You'll get
Mhm.
all sorts of things. It's hard to change the relationship or the sense that you can
Yeah,
trust yourself to be there for your child so that your child can learn that they can trust themselves too.
yeah.
What have you found in that space? Am I the only one who experiences that?
Um, just sort of how to rewrite that script of like they're kind of in a pattern and then you're trying to make some shifts.
And then you
Yeah,
get
that,
the, oh, you're doing that Dr. Kessler thing.
yeah. So, I mean, sometimes I think it just has to go really slowly. Like it can't be a big dramatic
Yeah,
shift. So they might sort of dip their toe into like, just a calm look or a compassionate glance, and they get, scoffed at or yelled at. Um, and
yes.
so, it's just sort of pulling back from that. Maybe in a calmer moment, you say, "You're right, I'm doing something different. I'm
Yeah,
trying something different because what we've been doing, I haven't been helping you. This hasn't been working. So
yeah,
it feels weird. You're right. I look weird. This isn't what I usually do, but I'm going to
right.
try it a little bit because we need to make a shift and I'm going to experiment, but you can tell me, and maybe in that calm moment they can elaborate a little bit more. Maybe it's like, "Well, you looked like you were really sad and that made me more upset." Right? So
Right.
sometimes actually our kids have some reflections that are really useful and help us tweak what we're doing. But again, this is all not in that moment. This is
Not
in
in that
another
moment.
moment of, that regulated,
Yeah.
calm, kind of green zone opportunity for that connection.
And I think, that makes me think about this idea about trial and error. It is all
Hmm.
experimenting. And it's not about abandoning something right away. Oh, it didn't work. It is
Hmm.
recognizing what you said, rewriting, right? And what's
Right,
unfamiliar is going to cause some, how do I walk into this water that's not familiar to me?
right, right. I mean, I think the first shift that's often a really big one is just um, maybe something that's more validating versus more kind of problem solving,
Absolutely.
right?
So right on.
Child comes home from school, peer was mean to them, excluded them, they're upset and worried about what's happening with this friendship. And I'm guilty, want to rush in with a solution. Well, did you talk to them? What did they say? What did you do? What did the
I'm
friend,
going to
I
go
mean,
talk to
just
the teacher.
this whole thing, right? We just launch into action. Um, and that is all such good intention. And yet, what we missed is our child is coming to us with worry, sadness,
Yes.
hurt,
Yes.
frustration, confusion, concern, right?
Yeah.
And that is where we need to pause and connect. And maybe
Yeah.
there is some problem solving or reflection that comes later. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe all they
Yeah.
needed to do was vent to us and tell us how, you know, hard their day was and how upset they are about their friend, but they'll say, "Oh, it's going to be fine tomorrow. I know." And okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's another piece of this.
You're saying something that I really want to underscore, and that is that problem solving addresses a specific event. Emotion
Mm-hmm.
regulation, being able to validate and be with the emotion is
Mm.
it transcends all because that gets carried to
Yes.
subsequent experiences. And I
Right.
think we
Right.
miss that this is more powerful than like that immediate, let's fix this one problem.
Absolutely. No, I think that's a really good point is that that sort of zooms out and addresses a broader array rather than a very specific, narrow, dilemma that's happening right now.
Yeah.
I need to
Yeah.
pause and send a quick text because my
Sure.
doggy is
No
scratching at the
worries.
door and I need to ask someone to help because it's distracting to me.
She's is going to be going to Philadelphia soon.
Mhm.
So yeah, the idea about the greater gift is helping a child learn that they can and that you can be there with the emotional ups and downs so that as the challenges get bigger in life, they hear themselves and know they have the tools. Which brings me to another thing that irks me a bit, and I'm wondering if it irks you. And I might be out on a limb on this one. I get irked when a parent says they told their child they were proud of them. What
Mm,
I hear is that my child did something that pleased me. They met my standard, my expectation, and they made me
mhm,
feel good that I'm doing a good job as a parent.
mhm, mhm.
I don't know how it hits you.
Well, I think I can hold where it's irksome. I think I accept that parenting has a certain narcissistic investment, and it sort of has to. It is so hard. It is the longest, roughest marathon there is. And so if you don't have some narcissistic investment in it, there
Mm,
is no reason why you would do this journey. So I think you're right. I think it reflects some of that narcissism, right? I'm proud of you. You met, an expectation of mine, and whoa, that
right.
feels good. Yes, that's great for you, but it feels good to me also on some level. Um,
Yes.
I think that's all true. I just sort of accept that that is part of the equation that makes this very hard journey possible.